In this tutorial, I'm going to take you through how you can create, update and publish your very own NPM library. So let's get started. So to start off with, we're going to open up a terminal window and we're going to make a directory called packages. The reason I'm doing this is because inside of packages, I then want to create a test folder and then the package folder. So I'm going to make a directory called test. This is to test our new NPM package, and then I'm going to make a directory called square. So now we have that in place, let's open up our code editor. So we do that with code and then dot. Let's open up Visual Studio Code inside this directory. So you can see here we have test and we have square. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. Now we want to make sure that we have a terminal window open at the bottom. To do that, we hit terminal at the top and we go new terminal, and that will open up this terminal window at the bottom here. So we want to cd into square and we want to run npm init. This will initialize a new npm project for us. So the package name will be square, the version at the moment will be 1, description will be square a number, entry point will be index.js, test command, git repository and keywords we'll leave empty at the moment, and the author will be coding nexus. Okay, so if we now go to the square package, we can see we have this package.json here, and that's got all the information that we just entered. So let's right click onto the square folder and create a new file, and we call this index.js. And this index.js file is where the main content of our library is going to be. So to start off with, we're going to export, and then we want to have the name of our project, which will be square. And that's going to be equal to a function. And that function takes in a number. And what we want to do is return number times number. So that's all the content of the index.js file. Yours might be a lot more complicated. This is just for an example. So what we want to do now, we want to test this. So we've actually got a package here. We could technically upload it, but let's say we want to test it first. So inside the test folder here, we want to cd into it in the terminal. So we go cd and then dot dot to go back, and then we go cd and then test. And we want to run npm install. So this will be where the actual project is, so we'll do dot dot slash to go back a folder and then square, and then we hit enter. That should install the npm package for us. So if we open up this node modules folder here, we can see we have our square package. It's got our index and our package.json file in, and inside our package.json file underneath test we should be able to see that we have our square dependency. So to test this, inside the index file we'll have a new file and we'll call that index.js, and we want to import our new library, so we do const and then square is equal to require and then square. And simply to test this, we're going to console.log square and then 5. And that should return 25. So inside here, the terminal, we type node and then dot. You can see we have 25 here. So we're going to make one small change to our package.json file here, because there could be many projects called square, and we want to have an at, and I'm going to call mine code nexus and then slash, and then when people install it, they can do at code nexus slash square. I'm going to change the version number of this to 1.101, and then inside test we can run npm update. And that should have now updated our project. Here we go, we can see that inside square here we have a code nexus slash square. So that's also how you update a project. So the next thing is how do we actually upload to NPM and have this library stored on the internet for people to use? So the first thing we want to do is we want to navigate to npmjs.com and we want to sign up. Let's create an account. Right, so now we've created our account, we can see our dashboard here. We can now move away from this. We'll have a look at this later once we've updated our project, uploaded our project, so we can actually see what projects we have listed here. So let's now, in the terminal, we'll cd back out of test and we'll cd back into the square folder. And what we want to do is we want to run npm login, and this will then ask us to log into the logins that we just used. So once we've logged in, we can now start looking at publishing our application. We may get an error because we may need to get an authentication token or some other information from NPMs. But first of all, let's try running NPM publish. So that failed. So what we want to actually do is we want to tell it that we want this application to be public. So we can run npm publish -- access equals public. We hit enter again, that should now upload. My bad, I've put here code nexus. We need to put coding nexus. It needs to be the same as the account that you signed up with. So we hit save on that, rerun this. And there we go, we can see that it's created this for us. So if we now go back into the npm.js, click on our icon up here and go to packages, we can now see that we have our package installed here. So let's now go back into this test folder. What we want to do is npm remove, and then we want to remove square. That should remove this square from here. And then what we want to do is we want to install the package that we just created. So let's install this package here. We can run npm I, and that should now load it from the npm library. When we open up package.json, we can see @coding nexus square with a version number here. If you found this tutorial useful, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you want to support this channel, also check out my Patreon page. And to learn more about JavaScript, check out this video on screen now.